Let's just make this a little bigger. I'll show you how to do that there. And my favorite is Century Gothic, because it's supposed to be easy for everyone to read. Now, at the moment, the orientation of this page is portrait. That noise, by the way, is just me clicking the touchpad. To change this to landscape, you go to Layout, Orientation, Landscape. Takes a minute. Now, just so you realise, if I double click and get into the header, do you remember I said these don't change? So if you want to fix your tabs in a landscape, you just drag it over to the end. So bring the right tab down. Say we'll bring it to 24, and half 24 is 12. So we'll bring the center point up here to 12, and that's as good enough for me. Okay. So let's just start. So you should put your name in. Let's put the date in. Okay. And then hitting the tab key again. This is page layout. Some of the options, I can't cover everything, and you'll be bored baldy anyway. So we've done the first one. So that's done. We've done the orientation as landscape. And that was in the Layout tab. Also in the Layout tab is margins, and I'm going to pick moderate. Okay. And that just alters. So if I go Control Z, do you see it's a little bit wider, the margins, and moderate gives you more space on the page. Okay. Now, I'm just going to add some text here. I'm going to use equal rand again. Okay, so that gets us some text in. Okay. By the way, you have to change the tabs in the footer as well. I forgot to mention that. Look at where they're nice the way you've set them. If I arrow down to the footer, look, they're all skewy again. So you need to bring that up. Just drag that up to the 24. I prefer doing it with the mouse. Half 24 is 12. They're not really accurate, but it'll do. Okay. Now I want to show you how a section break works. Page break is layout. So here's all the breaks, okay? So you've got page break, column break, text wrapping we'll come back to, next page, continuous, even page, odd page. We'll come back to those. The only one I want to do is a page break, a column break, and a continuous break, or a section break as I call it. So a page break would be if you hold down Control Enter, that gives you a page break. And if I turn the show hide on, you can see the page break in there. Okay, and sometimes if you have enter buttons in there, see the way there's an enter there, you just delete that to bring it up to the top of the page if that's there in a page break. I'm just going to delete this again, so you can delete them out to bring it back up. And I want to show you what a section break looks like compared to a page break. So layout, break, and I call it continuous section break. So that is the same page. Now, what does that mean? It means, for example, if I wanted from here on down to have 2 columns, I'm underneath that section, I pick 2, you see? So you can have different column settings after, so you can have different layouts above and below a section break. I'm just going to undo those 2. And I want to show you another break. I want a next page break that is a section next page. And on this page, I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to change the orientation back to portrait. And what you see there is you can have a landscape page followed by a portrait page. The only kind of nuisance about that is you would need a different even and odd page break. Okay, so if I pick different even and odd, okay, that's nice and centered. and this is gone. You see, back. So you could go and the date again. I haven't really thought this through as the best way to do it, I suppose. I just want to demonstrate these things. And then this is page layout is the topic. So by having different odd and even page layouts, that can help. But I think if we had a third page, the heading and footer wouldn't look great. So, but the key thing there, how I've used this in the past, is if I have a big load of text, but there's just, say, a map maybe that you want to show in landscape, or a table that's better in landscape, by putting next page section break, you can have a single landscape page in the middle of everything. Okay, so, and columns was done there. I'm just going to sit here again. Remember, we've got the, just going to show you again, if I put columns 2, and then, by the way, if I want a column break, indicates the text following that column will begin on the next column. So do you see that goes up there? So then what you could do, you could put pictures in to help fill those spaces. So you might have, let's just say, chart. And we can put some kind of dummy chart in to show you what a chart would look like. So we'll insert that. Sorry about the speed. I hope it works. Should I pause? And if I wrap it tight and maybe resize it a bit using a corner, just mean I can use it, I can fill that spot there. But it's up to you how you're going to do it. And if I just turn, if I just turn off that, you can see there's a column break there. There's a section next page break there. This is landscape. If I zoom out a bit more, let me see it better. You see one of them is landscape and the other is portrait. So I'm not going to bother saving that, but you could just experiment with that yourself. And just remember the date that you studied this on should go into your, if you work up a file on it and you're doing orientation, margins, section break, column break, all of these are in the layout tab. So you've used margins, orientation, columns and breaks, and that is enough for this little section.